Sometimes you look calm from the outside, but inside, something has started looking for a place to hold on. It's 6:20 in the evening. The office is getting empty. Your notebook is still open on the desk after the meeting, and the glass walls make the room look clear, even though what happened inside it felt anything but clear. The water in your cup is still half full. The chairs have just been pushed back. The screen is still glowing, but the meeting has already taken most of the warmth out of the room. So why does staying quiet feel less like fear, and more like a form of careful seeing? What you may be noticing is the quiet reason to map the power. Not to join it. Not to copy it. Not to become the loudest person in the room. Just to understand where things move, who gets heard, who gets passed over, and what kind of silence keeps repeating. In this video, I'll slow down with that feeling, and look at why observation can feel so protective, why joining power can feel costly, and what it means to stay steady without disappearing. Map the power is what happens when you start reading a room for more than words. You notice who speaks with ease, who waits for permission, who gets interrupted, and who changes their tone when certain people walk in. It can look like calmness. And sometimes it is. But in many cases, it is also a form of self-protection. You are not only listening to what people say. You are listening for what the room allows. One common reason is that you may have learned that speaking too early can cost more than staying quiet. Maybe you have been in rooms where a simple comment turned into a label, or where one honest question made someone treat you differently after the meeting ended. Over time, your mind starts checking the room before it checks your own thoughts, because it wants to know what kind of reaction is waiting on the other side. So later, even when you have something useful to add, you watch the senior person's face first, or you wait to see who agrees with whom before you open your notebook again. It can make you seem composed, but part of you is doing quiet math. There's also a quieter reason. Some workplaces say they value honesty, but reward people who already know where the invisible lines are. In a meeting, the official conversation may be about a project, a report, or a decision. But underneath that, there can be a second conversation about status, timing, loyalty, and who is allowed to challenge whom. You might notice that the same idea lands differently depending on who says it, or that a concern becomes negative from one person and strategic from another. So you begin to study the room the way someone studies weather before leaving the house. Not because you enjoy the game, but because the game is already affecting you. It can also come from carrying a role where calmness is praised, but your inner cost is rarely seen. Maybe you are the person people call balanced, professional, or easy to work with. That can sound kind, but it can quietly become a job inside the job. You absorb tension, soften your words, notice who is upset, and keep your face neutral while the room shifts around you. So when the meeting ends and everyone walks out, you are still sitting there with a pen in your hand, feeling strangely tired from things nobody asked you to name. The calm version of you may be respected, while the real version of you has nowhere obvious to go. This is where the difference matters. Mapping power is not the same as chasing power. Chasing power often tries to become part of the center. Mapping power simply wants to understand the room clearly enough to not lose itself inside it. And sometimes, that is the whole reason you observe. You are not trying to become colder. You are not trying to become distant. You may simply be trying to understand why a room that looks polite can still make your body go still. It's a strange feeling, because nobody yelled. Nobody slammed a door. No one said anything openly cruel. But something still happened. Someone made a small joke that changed the energy. Someone dismissed an idea with a smile. Someone waited until the highest-ranking person nodded before they suddenly had an opinion. Someone who spoke clearly at the start became quiet by the end. And you saw it. That is the part that can feel lonely. Seeing the pattern does not always give you a clean place to put the feeling. It's around 6:20, and the office lights are beginning to feel too bright for the hour. You are standing beside your desk, one hand on the back of your chair, looking through the glass into the conference room you just left. A few chairs are angled away from the table, like people exited in a hurry. Your notebook is open to a page where you wrote 3 words and circled one name, not because that person was loud, but because every decision seemed to bend around them. You feel steady, but not peaceful. You feel alert, but not alive. If you've been there, you're not strange. You might know someone who lives like this. This is what it can look like when observation becomes a way to stay safe in a room where everything sounds normal, but not everything feels equal. And the hard part is that this kind of seeing can make you doubt your own reaction. You may think, maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe this is just how work is. Maybe everyone else already knows how to move through this, and I'm the one making it heavy. But often, your mind is not inventing the room. It is noticing patterns before you have clean language for them. That doesn't mean every glance has a hidden meaning. It doesn't mean every silence is dangerous. It only means your attention has picked up on the difference between what the room says it values and what the room quietly rewards. One small way to make the feeling less blurry is to separate the facts from the atmosphere. After a meeting like that, you might write 2 short columns in your notebook. On one side, what was actually said. On the other side, what seemed to shift the room. Maybe someone changed the topic. Maybe a question got ignored. Maybe one person's approval made everyone relax. This works because it gives your attention somewhere solid to land. You are not trying to prove a whole story. You are giving shape to what felt foggy. Another gentle way is to ask what kind of closeness you are being pulled toward. Sometimes, power invites people in by making them feel chosen. A laugh after the meeting. A private comment in the hallway. A small sign that says, "You understand how things work here." That can feel good, especially when you have been overlooked. But it can also pull you into agreeing with things you would rather just observe. So the quiet question becomes, is this connection asking me to be clearer or smaller? The answer may not arrive right away, but even asking it can return a little space inside you. Because sometimes the calm person in the room is not passive. Sometimes that person is the one keeping track of what others pretend not to see. There is a kind of intelligence that does not rush to speak. It listens to timing. It notices who relaxes after being agreed with. It sees who uses warmth as cover, who uses silence as pressure, and who uses politeness to end a conversation before it has really begun. But there is also a cost when seeing becomes the only place you feel safe. If you only map the room, you may start living beside your own voice instead of inside it. You may leave meeting after meeting with accurate notes and a tired chest. You may understand everyone else's position so clearly that your own starts to feel less available. That is the quiet edge of it. Observation can protect you from being pulled into the wrong center. But it can also keep you standing at the edge for so long that the edge starts feeling like your only place. And maybe the goal is not to become louder. Maybe it is simply to notice the moment when quiet seeing turns into quiet self-erasure. This is for people who stay composed in rooms where everyone else is measuring the air. For people who understand the tone beneath the sentence. For people who leave meetings with more awareness than comfort. For people who can name the power in a room, but still wonder where their own place is. Mapping the power may be your way of staying clear. And not joining it may be the part of you still protecting something honest.